like a Hellcat.
Guys, my name is John Michael E. Reyes. I'm currently second year BSIT, and today we are at chapter 10, and the chapter 10 is all about the application layer, and we're here about to answer all the activities here at chapter 10. And as far as I've known, because I've read the chapter 10, chapter 10 has only two sets of activities, and the first one is this one: application and presentation, protocols and standards. So let's answer. Instruction: drag the appropriate protocol names and standards to the correct OSI and TCP IP network location. Each protocol and standard will be used once the OSI model and once on the TCP or IP model. Then first is the OSI model. The OSI model is in application. We all know that in OSI model, the 7 and 6 are the application and the presentation. And in the presentation, in the application, there will be in the hypertext transfer protocol, or the HTTP. It's somewhat based on web, and hypertext transfer protocol is set of rules for exchanging text, graphics, images, sound, video, and other multimedia files like on the World Wide Web. Then after that, in the name system, we have the domain name system. It is domain name system somewhat translate domain names such as a particular website into an IP address, like for an example is Cisco or other stuff. Then the other one will be, I think it would be TFTP, because TFTP, or what we call trivial file transfer protocol, is a simple and connectionless file transfer protocol. And as we all know, it is a best effort unacknowledged file delivery protocol, and it utilizes less overhead than file transfer protocol. Then we have the IMAP. The IMAP, or Internet Message Access Protocol, it somewhat enables clients to access email store on a mail server. It somewhat maintains email on the servers, so it would be on the OSI model. Then the POP, or Post Office Protocol, or the function of this protocol is somewhat, it enables the clients to retrieve emails from mail servers and download emails from the mail server to the desktop. Then the last one would be, I think it would be IMAP, or Internet Message. No, it's not the IMAP. It would be the DH, because we already have the IMAP. Sorry for that. It would be the DHCP, or the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, somewhat, it dynamically assign IP address to client station at startup. It somewhat allows the address to be reused when no longer needed. Then let's proceed to the presentation. The number 6 presentation. I think in the number 6 we would not fill all this, because I think there are somewhat only few answers for number 6, and that would be the first one would be in presentation. The first thing that comes in my mind is JPEG, because somewhat JPEG, as far as I've known, JPEG is from pictures, and in JPEG it is somewhat on presenting a something or a file or it is somewhat a server that JPEG is somewhat for presenting a picture or videos and other stuff. Then the MPEG also somewhat just like JPEG, but it is also used on some pictures, videos, and other stuff that can be presented in a crowd of people or other stuff or in other people. Then we have the GIF. The GIF is somewhat the one that moves, picture that moves, and we always encounter all the three of these in our daily lives, because we always surf in the internet and have our own videos and pictures. That's why I think the three of this would be on the presentation, and the TCP IP model would be this 9, the GIF, the POP or post office protocol, the IMAP or the internet message access protocol, then the TFTP or trivial file transfer protocol, the JPEG for the images, and the MPEG also for that, and the name system, the DNS or domain name system, then the DHCP or dynamic host control configuration protocol, and the HTTP or the hypertext transfer protocol. There are somewhat two types of in the web, that would be the HTTPS and the HTTP. The HTTPS is somewhat more on the secured part of the HTTP, because HTTPS is somewhat the browser uses encryption to secure the HTTP communications. So it would have some passwords and other stuff in order to secure or the stuff that you are in HTTP. Then let's check. So you can see, correct, you successfully chose the correct location for the protocols and standards. That's all. Then let's proceed to another activity. Hi guys, this is the second activity of chapter 10. It is in the application layer, and somewhat this is not an activity, but as for me, I've considered this configuration as part of an activity. So let's try. This activity or configuration is somewhat try for us to verify the status of every domain name because of the nslookup command. Then first, from the window command prompt, enter the nslookup. So we will just gonna enter the nslookup. Then as you can see, this default server unknown with an IP address of 10.10.10.1. The output list the name and the IP address of the DNS server. Configure the client. Note, you are now in nslookup. Then we will try to go in the cisco.com. Then let's try cisco.com, and there are some addresses. These are the addresses of the Cisco, and as you can see, these are the server, the E144D TCB Kamay Edge.net, and the addresses, it have 4 addresses and aliases of the Cisco. Then the third one would be resolve enter exit. We would exit the Cisco. Then we would go to the Google Chrome or the google.com. Then nslookup www.google.com. Then after that, as you can see, the name of the Google is pop up, and as you can see, there are some addresses. These are the, I think it is the compressed format, and these are the addresses of the Google. Then enter nslookup. So nslookup, sorry for that. Then as you can see, the server is 127.0.1.1 and the address is 127.0.1.1 hashtag 53, and we will prompt the Cisco, www.cisco.com. Then as you can see, there are address of the Cisco 23, 60, 112, and 170. Then after that, we would exit and we will prompt we will type the ns lookup www.google.com in order to get the server address and the other stuff. Then as you can see, I've successfully used the ns lookup command to verify the status of domain names. So these are the name and their addresses. So you can see it is the address is not by one, increment by one. And that's all for today, folks, and thank you for listening, and that's